Hello, this video introduces you to the eCampus shell for the Biology 2401 class. When you come into the class through eCampus, the first thing you're going to see is the Start Here button. The Start Here button gives you access to the recording, access to the syllabus, schedule, and important dates for the class. These right here are going to be the documents. If you want to access the schedule, you need to click on the document. If you want to access to the syllabus, you need to click on the document. The page will also give you instructor information. Here is the instructor's email, phone number, office. Office hours are noted also. It will also give you information about the division office. This case is the Math and Science Division Office. Course requirements and textbook information, evaluation procedures for the class, exam proctoring, and institutional policies. Textbook information for the class. The information is also found in the syllabus. The requirement for the class is the purchase of a McGraw-Hill Connect code. Here's the ISBN number for the code. Another way to purchase the code is to use the link here or to copy and paste the link right here. This is the link for the class, which will take us to McGraw-Hill and will allow us to purchase the code through them. There is no laboratory requirement. The laboratory will use the Reveal feature of McGraw-Hill Connect. It will use the lab PowerPoints and the lab PowerPoint tutorials. The lab practical exams will use pictures from Reveal, from lab PowerPoints and lab PowerPoint tutorials. Going back to the Start Here button, and scrolling down, you can find the evaluation procedures. The class is evaluated through lecture exams. There will be 5 lecture exams. The lowest grade will be dropped. 4 of the 5 will be counted. Each lecture chapter has a corresponding lecture quiz. The quizzes have no time limit, and the students have 2 attempts to finish the quiz. The highest graded attempt will be the one that will become the final grade. There are 4 live practical exams. Exams have 50 multiple choice questions. They are timed 2-hour exams. They have to be taken at a testing center, so they're proctor exams. Note that all 4 lab practical exams will be counted. There will be lab quizzes. There are about 15 lab quizzes. Each has 15 questions. The quizzes also have no time limit, and the students have two trials to try to finish the quiz. The highest grade will be counted. There will be discussion questions. Each lecture module that corresponds to a lecture test will have a series of questions, and students need to answer 1 question per chapter. And finally, there will be an introduction and class navigation quiz that students will take at the beginning of the semester, prior to or right before the census date. Here is the evaluation and what each of the assignments and tests are worth, for a total of 1,000 points. Now, we go back to Start Here syllabus. And I want to go over the tabs on the left-hand side to show you what they contain. The Announcements tab will have the announcements. The announcements are going to be sent to students via email, and they will remain in the announcements page for as long as they are needed. When you click on the My Grades tab, students will get information about their grades. Resources tab will give information about library and tutoring resources, disability services. NSCA Student Services gives further information about services like Writing Lab, LaCroix Center, career services, admissions and registration, etc. The video tutorials will list all the videos available that show you how to navigate eCampus and how to navigate Reveal, discussion questions, and Blackboard Collaborate. Lecture Modules tab will give you the information about the lecture material. Module 1 corresponds to Lecture Test 1, which covers Chapter 1 and 4. When you click on the file, you will find all the material relevant to the first test, including recordings. Notice that Module 1 has an objective page, which it is highly recommended that students look at the objective page and follow it as they are studying for the test. Laboratory tab will have information about laboratory practicals. Here is Lab Practical 1 file, 2, 3, and 4. The practical files are going to contain the list of terms for each of the practical. The list of terms is the list of all the material that they need to know for the practical. If it is in the list of terms, it can be in the practical. If it's not in the list of terms, it will not be in the practical. Down here are the lab PowerPoints, and then reviews and tutorials. There is also what's called a reveal code right here, which allows the students to access the material in Reveal that is relevant to the test. So you can copy this code and plug it into Reveal. Discussion questions. Remember that students are required to answer one question per chapter. Module 1 discussion questions. Module 1 covers 2 chapters. There are 2 threads for Chapter 1 and 2 threads for Chapter 2. The students need to answer one question from Chapter 1 from either thread and one question from Chapter 4 from either thread. The questions must be answered correctly for the student to get credit. And if they don't get complete credit, they can always go back and edit their question for full credit. Quizzes, the tab that reads quizzes will have the quizzes for the class. Introduction to eCampus quiz, which is due at the beginning of the semester by the census date. Lecture quizzes, lab quizzes, practice practical quizzes. Practice practicals are optional quizzes that students should take before they take the practical exam. It consists of 10 questions and that will allow them to earn up to 5 points towards their practical exam. The tests tab has the lecture tests and the lab practicals. Notice that we have 5 lecture tests. Lecture test number 3 is divided into 2 tests, 3A and 3B. Lecture test 3A is taken at home. It consists of 40 questions. It is timed to 1.5 hours and it represents 34% of lecture 3 grade. Test 3B is taken in the testing center. The test has 50 questions. It covers Chapter 9, is timed to 2.5 hours, and is taken at a testing center. The lab practical exams. There are 4 lab practical exams. Notice that Lab Practical Exam 2 has two tests, 2A and 2B. 2A is taken at a testing center, is worth 66% of the Lab Practical, and it covers a skeletal system and appendicular and axial bones. It is timed to 2 hours. Lab Practical 2B is taken at home. It has 50 questions, timed 2 hours, and it covers appendicular and axial skeleton bone landmarks. Also under the Lab Practical tests file at the bottom, we have the Comprehensive Lab Practical, which is an optional test taken at home. It consists of 50 questions from a pool of 250. It is timed for 2 hours. The grade on this test will replace the lowest Lab Practical grade. Help will give you help with Blackboard. And finally, tools will give you access to grades again, to Blackboard Collaborate, which is a real-time tutorial that we can have with the students, and I will announce when Blackboard Collaborate is going to be held. We'll hold several of these sessions throughout the semester. So this is a quick look at eCampus. If you have any questions, please email the instructor. Thank you.